Hello, this is Vincent, and welcome to Dogma Discussions. So this channel, if you're not familiar with it, is to discuss dogma. Started out focused on religious dogma based on my upbringing in evangelical church and the dangers of dogma. But lately, I've been incorporating other types of dogma. There's been a lot of dogma going on in politics and culture wars. So I find it interesting. This one is about the dogma of personal liberties versus the pandemic. And the question I'm asking is, will vaccine mandates lead to a two-tiered society? So please comment below about how you feel about that. Like the video, share it with people so that others who might be like-minded can hear about it. And again, my name is Vincent, and I do these periodically. And here we go. Benjamin Franklin once said that those who willingly trade liberty for temporary security deserve neither liberty nor security. Yet, is everyone willingly trading their liberty? Or are many being forced through fear-mongering and threats? The mainstream media constantly touts polls that the majority of Americans support vaccine mandates, and even more shockingly, support people losing their jobs over refusal to take the jab. But why? Why are people supporting unjust laws that take away our personal agency? Well, it may be part of our evolutionary nature. We are mammals and share many behavioral traits with the animal kingdom. And to what species are we most closely related? Apes, or more specifically, chimps, with whom we share 98.8% of our DNA. Interestingly, chimpanzees are ruled by a dominant male who maintains control through physical violence and intimidation. After rising to power, he then will seek to influence others by granting favors. Thus, he bullies, then provides safety and comfort. Perhaps in times of turmoil, our chimp DNA gets the best of us, and fear and threats cause us to willingly acquiesce to authoritarianism. Thus, we forget that we must consciously fight to rise above our beastly nature, that our ancestors fought for us to be a free, independent people. In the song Lieder der Freiheit, the German band Santiano describes what personal freedom means thusly: born into freedom and sworn to no one. For if we don't have rights to our bodies and what we put in them, what rights do we have? Yet the dogmatic don't care. They seek to label and punish those who resist mandates while seemingly failing to recognize our Constitution or their own hypocrisy. The 18th century philosopher John Locke, whose influence on our Constitution cannot be overstated, said that people have the right to self-ownership, that no one should control another person's body. But wait, Vincent, shouldn't the government be able to mandate vaccines for the general public health? Interestingly, pro-COVID vaxxers are looking for precedent to justify vaccine mandates. In a case from 1905. In it, the Supreme Court upheld a New England law that smallpox vaccines could be required for the common good. Yet it's not that simple. First, smallpox had a 30% mortality rate versus COVID, which is around 1%. So equating the two diseases is a false equivalency. Secondly, the 1905 mandate also recognized natural immunity, that if you had endured the disease, the vaccine was not required. Thirdly, failure to receive the vaccine meant a small fine, not being banned from venues and or fired from your job. Now, before going further, I want you to know that I'm not arguing against all vaccines. Many have been a great benefit against some terrible viruses. Measles, for instance, kills about 30% of those infected. Polio leaves people paralyzed. Mumps causes sterilization. And hepatitis severely damages your liver. And the vaccines for these have proven through the test of time their great efficacy and general safety. Plus, those diseases mutate so slowly, we never need a booster. It's one jab and done. Thus, those vaccines make sense. COVID, like all other coronaviruses, is very different. First, it specifically targets the aged and those with certain comorbidities. Secondly, it mutates constantly, meaning, like the flu vaccine, a person will need yearly boosters ad infinitum. Do we want to make the drug companies rich off boosters every 6 to 12 months for the rest of our lives? What's the potential downfall of that? And what about being pro-choice about our bodies? Many on the left are currently both supportive of vaccine mandates and also upset about the strictness of the abortion law just passed in Texas. This is an interesting philosophical conundrum for that side of the aisle. How? Well, the left says that a woman has the right to her own body. End of story. That when seeking an abortion, it affects no one but her. So, bodily autonomy for abortion, but not for COVID. Well, they say, the unvaccinated are a danger to others. If you're unvaccinated, you could kill Granny. Who would want that on his or her conscience? Yet those on the pro-life side point out that abortion harms another person by killing a human life. So both choosing abortion and to be unvaccinated potentially harm others. Then how can someone who is pro-choice support vaccine mandates? It's not logically consistent. But wait, the left are not just annoyingly dangerous for their hypocrisy, but for their desire to punishment as well. For example, many of these authoritarian liberals want those who refuse the vaccine to be refused life insurance policies and want that they should pay more for their health insurance. A major American corporation has already decided to charge their unvaccinated employees a couple of $100 more per month for their health insurance. Yes, claim the vaccine devotees. That'll teach those loony anti-vaxxers. Yet I would offer a word of caution to our pro-choice, left-leaning compatriots about going down this road. What's next if we take this idea to its logical conclusion? Should the unvaccinated pay more for health insurance? Yes, cry those who seek authoritarianism. Those slackers must pay, they say, for they don't care about their fellow man. Okay, yet currently group plans protect us from this type of stepped approach to insurance coverage. And Obamacare protects us from being prejudiced against because of pre-existing conditions. Why is this important? Once the non-vaccinated can be targeted, what's to stop insurance companies from charging people more who have high cholesterol, cancer, diabetes, weight issues? The argument could be made that they don't care about their fellow humans any more than the unvaccinated, because we all pay more for those who have health issues. In the meantime, while we plebeians fight against each other, the actuaries of insurance companies rub their greedy little palms together and laugh all the way to the bank. And speaking of the greedy, self-serving, powerful people, recently, my city had its state fair, and the governor decided that to enter this festival, a vaccine passport would be required. Currently a piece of paper where I live. A coworker whom I know is unvaccinated is telling me about her trip there. Let me take you to that moment. Wait, I say, how did you get in being one of the unwashed, the unclean? She laughs. So check this out, she responds, her face wearing a ruse smile and eyes sparkling like stars. I wasn't going to go until my cousin told me that they weren't checking your ID with the vaccine card. So he and his friends just passed the same card around. She laughs heartily, as I do. My joy is for both the cleverness of human beings to always seek the easy route, and because our idiot tin-pot governor's authoritarianism is being circumvented. So, I ask, is that how you went? Again, she laughs, muffling the vocalizations of her hilarity with one hand, the other embracing her abdomen as her torso rocks back and forth. Nope, she says in between gasps, finally clearing her throat and relaxing her hands to her sides. My cousin, who plays in a band there, took me in on his backstage pass. No vaccine card, mask, nothing required. Security only checked us for weapons. So, dear listener, there is the vaccine dogma. We must all espouse the same belief that COVID lurks around every corner, so virulent that you have to wear your mask while biking down the street, lest it find its way into your nostrils like a heat-seeking missile. But in practice, the government only pretends to care. There have been many examples of this hypocrisy in our society over the past 20 months or so. It reminds me of growing up evangelical, where everyone ostensibly eschews alcohol, but some imbibe at home with family and friends. My religiously devout parents decried the hypocrisy of those they referred to as beer-drinking Baptists, a label said with a definite sneer. Now, there's no denying that COVID is more dangerous than other coronaviruses, which we regularly encounter. And who knows if it was engineered in a lab or not? We'll probably never know. Yet more and more it seems that the dogma about COVID is also dangerous. Why? Labels. Why do we label other people? Because when you label someone, you take away their humanity, which makes it easier to mistreat them. The unvaccinated, once labeled, transition from being people who have a variety of reasons for avoiding the vaccine to being maligned as Trump supporters, right-wing gun nuts, QAnon members, or just plain foolish or childish, that they are so undesirable we cannot chance to allow them in the same room or place of employment. Should we give these undesirables their own bathrooms and drinking fountains too? We've been down that road once, and I thought that we had decided that segregation was a bad thing. Moreover, the problem with labeling is not just what it does to the targeted person. It also dehumanizes the labeler, which leads him or her towards the path of irrationality and dangerous behavior. That's my podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Whether you agree or disagree with me, leave me a comment. I'm open to discussion. I'm just giving you my thoughts. Like the video and subscribe, tell others. Thank you. Until next time, this is Vincent. Goodbye.